This last week, the last 7 days has been absolutely traumatic. I had eye surgery. They replaced the lens in my right eye and I can see everything clear. Thank you, Abba Yahusha. I might even have the other one done. I could barely see out of my right eye. And then we had the attack. I can't believe it, that Israel is still being confronted with this enemy. The enemy is spiritual. It's not flesh and blood, but it's spiritual. It's principalities and powers in the heavenlies that are arrayed against us. And we do not fight with the weapons that they fight with. We fight with love and the Torah and the truth. The things that are happening in the world just are getting more ferocious all the time. And today I wanted to talk to you about idolatry some more, because that's basically what drives the world economy. We're going into pumpkin world every time we go out to shop now. You know, they're selling pumpkins in these circus building places. We were driving by several Christian circuses, and they're selling pumpkins out there in the lawn, in all of them. You know, it's like and then it's next month it'll be Christmas trees, you know, in the circus places. It's amazing how they kind of, what does that have to do with that steeple? Well, everything, yeah. It's idolatry. We've been talking about idolatry. I've written about 20-something books on that subject. Not that I'm focusing on idolatry, but I'm just trying to wake people up, and they argue about it, going, no, it's an accident, it's coincidental. That's not really what it means to me, really. And we just have to keep hammering at the same silliness all the time. The thing that we have to pay attention to, though, is what it looks like to Yahusha. It's a demonic scheme. It's not the people's fault. They're just led along. And they think, oh, well, he doesn't really care. You know, they don't see him, they don't know him, and he doesn't know them. But if you learn the origins of symbols and the behavior that accompanies those symbols, it should be a high priority to everybody. We are out here telling people, begging for them to wake up, and they just sort of go, it doesn't really matter, it's for the children. Yes, it is for the children. The borders of India at one time swelled so big that it was about 200 BC. The borders of India swelled to reach Arabia in around 200 BCE, a couple of hundred years before Yahusha. And they were coming along this trade route, you know, to sell things. The Silk Road is what they call it. And it was an efficient entry point into the Middle East for trade. And then when they hit the Middle East, they went, whoa, look at this. We've got all these places we can get to, because now we can go by water and spread this idolatry. See, India is basically the land of Nimrod. And they were already doing all this stuff for a long time. And this trade route brought silk, incense, spices, jewelry, carpets, clothing, lamps, little oil lamps, and other merchandise. It also brought the culture of Hinduism. Crescents, bead praying, special water, holy water. You can see they worshipped the river Ganges over there. And they splashed that around, and they were using holy water originally. And circumambulating, walking around objects like stupas and domes. And the shiveling ceremony, it's actually called shiveling. That's shivaling. It's a ceremony of pouring milk over a stone in a very small box or cubicle building. And it drains into this thing called a yoni. And these are sexual objects that they're using to depict the male and the female. And they pour milk over these things. And that's the highest form of worship. It's like sort of like a Roman Catholic sacrament, I guess. And I'm going to tell you about sacraments too. But the Indian sun temples were shaped like little cubes. And they exhibit all these features and practices, along with hundreds of avatars to bow down to. They had a lot of serpents and people sitting on stacks of serpents. That's what when you see a person doing the little finger dance with their knees apart and they're squatting down and they've got their fingers like this and they're doing a meditation thing. They're going into a trance so that they can be inhabited by forces. And they have the chakra thing going, they depict it with their 7 levels. And they're sitting on a stack of serpents, and when they fold their legs, their feet over their knees, that is the top of the serpent stack. It's actually 2 serpents. Your feet become 2 serpent heads. And but if you see the whole picture on these statues over there in Nimrod land, you see the coils of the serpent. It's absolutely idolatrous. Anyway, this Shivalingam, this stone, and the yoni that the milk drains into, coming down off the stone, is used in a ceremony called shiveling. And they're housed in a cube-shaped building, that's the Sun Temple, adorned with a large dome on the outside, and 2 smaller domes. If you ever drive by some of these buildings of various sorts, you'll see, Roman Catholic places, they're imitating the Hindu thing, but they've got a big dome, and then they've got 2 little domes out in front. There's a spa that's popular that uses that motif. And of course a lot of Muslim mosques use the same design. Where did they get the architecture? Well, it came from India. The cube-shaped building adorned with a large dome in the center and 2 smaller domes on either side of the entrance. And they're called shrines. The Masons really don't know about this, but they still imitate it. Maybe some of them do, but they just dismiss it. The 7th century Arabia was overrun with this Hinduism. And it was blended into their interpretations of the writings of the scriptures by way of a Catholic nun who became the wife of Muhammad. Her mission was to incite the Arabs to drive out the inhabitants of Jerusalem because they believed from the scriptures the land was given to Ishmael. That's Yitzhak's older brother. Now, they call him Ishmael, and he's a Hebrew. He's the son of Abraham, the oldest boy of Abraham, the firstborn. But the secondborn was where the covenant was given, and Yitzhak was his name. Now, the world calls him Isaac. And Isaac's older brother, Ishmael, became 12 tribes also. And Yahuwah promised Hagar that he would also be blessed, but he would also be a wild donkey among men. Now, anyway, the conflict that we see in the world today between the Arabs, who are Hebrews, and the descendants of Yitzhak, which is his son was Yaqub, they call him Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Yaqub. The conflict between these two big families is still going on. And it continues to engulf the minds of each generation with delusions of superiority over one another. Yahushua will take the necessary steps to show the entire world who he is very soon. There's an old saying, love one another as I have loved you. And at Luke 9:6-2 it says, no one having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the reign of Yahuwah. How does that apply? Well, there was another saying, an old saying by a philosopher called Seneca, and he was a first century Roman philosopher, and he said, do not stumble over something behind you. Meaning, don't stumble over the past. Move forward and find Yahushua, and he will give you eternal life if you will accept him and obey his commandments. Without obedience, you will not receive him. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuwah. Learn what that means. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next exciting video.